So our topic is about self-awareness, which is the basis of how I work with athletes. I feel like in order for you to be able to move forward, you got to know who you are. You got to work to do that. It's not easy, as you all know, to figure out who you are. It's a process. So our goals for today, I talked about the applied piece. I want you to own who you are. So as I'm talking, I want you to think about yourself in the same respect, right? Who are you? What are those pieces? Self-awareness is really, really important. It is something that you want to strive to. I think that every one of us does something really well with little effort. We all have something we do well with little effort. And when we figure out what that is, then we want to maximize it. We want to, as I tell the players, I want to exploit the hell out of it. Because you don't think about it. It's no effort in it, so why not use it to your full potential? So maybe you compartmentalize really well, which would be great for maybe your job, but it sucks for personal life, right? Because in personal life, you may have an argument with your spouse, and for you, it's over. For them, they want to come back and talk some more, because you've already put it someplace else, right? But for your job, it's great, because you've put it someplace else, and you're on with the task, right? So the other part of that is the imperfect. Know who you are, even the bad parts of you. I like to call them growth edges. We all have them. We all have growth edges. So know who you are, those pieces as well, because that's also important. Very, very important to know that aspect of yourself. For example, I have no patience, none whatsoever, with yeah butters.
Yes.
None. So my yeah butters are showing that when you say, why don't you get another job? Yeah, but I have no patience for that. Considering what I do is probably not a good thing, right? Because I'm supposed to listen and help you out, figure all that stuff out. But if you come to my office and we do the yeah, but, I'm like, out the door. So I got a rule that you can come and bitch and we can talk about whatever you want to. But before you leave, we need to have a plan. We need to have a focus. Otherwise, you just wasted my time and yours. So that is something I know that I have to work on a daily basis, because who's got kids? So everybody knows the yeah butters, right? You know, you've experienced it. I mean, we've got 18-year-olds in the NBA. I have 18-year-olds on my team, so I hear that a lot. So it's something I have to work through. So this is a quote my quote that I tell the players all the time. Confidence is always found but never lost. I hear players all the time tell me, oh, I found my confidence. Oh, I lost my confidence. I don't think that that's true. I think that you're always confident. You just don't always pay attention to it. I learned that I have a gut, and it tells me something on an instant. I learned that when I need to make a decision, a big decision, I don't pay attention to all the pluses and the negatives. I don't sit down and process it. I don't think about it. I don't listen to what people have. I just go on through life. And then I wake up one day and there's a decision, and then I do it. And it works for me. But I figured that out because I was paying attention to who I am. Right? I've started to notice that if I start to question things, then I make a wrong decision. If I start to think about it, I make the wrong decision. But if I let it go, the right decision will come to me. And that was a hard thing to do, because we're taught that you need to kind of grapple with it and work through things, right? But that didn't work for me. So that's that piece of self-awareness that I had to pay attention to. Well, it's just I decided to pay attention to, and I decided to let it work in my favor. And that's the way I've been since. I mean, I literally have gone from cross country on a whim, and it's worked out. But it was the best decision for me. The other thing that I learned as well is that I have a mouth. I've learned to develop a filter. How about that? I have learned to develop a filter because my mouth always got me in trouble. All the time. Anyone else like that? Yeah. I say something, then I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. And it's too late. So that was another piece of self-awareness. I had to figure out, how do I control that piece? How do I develop a filter? And how do I do that in a way that still allows me to express what I need to express, because I can't keep it in. That doesn't work for me either. I still need to say what I need to say, but how do I do that? So what I learned how to do would be, at times, is to slow things down. So self-awareness is a very important piece. It's one of those things that you've got to pay attention to. Exploit your talent. Back to, what is it that you do well without any effort? So I learned that I can read people, process it, and not be intrusive in helping them develop what they need to develop, and there's no effort to it. I learned that when I was in my master's program. I learned that the way that my brain works is that we can have a conversation. I'm not analyzing you. I'm not taking in anything, but I really am taking in stuff. But we have a great conversation as friends. But if you want me to move over to the therapy side, all the stuff is here, and then I can break it down for you. But that's not an effort for me. So I thought, well, hell, I should get paid for that.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Why not? I mean, I don't try. Why shouldn't I get paid for it? Right? So find what you do well. And there is. We all do something really well. You may have the ability to make people feel comfortable really easy. No effort. Again, you may compartmentalize really well. You may be able to write really well, write down really well. You may be able to express yourself verbally, physically really well. Whatever that is that you do with no effort, exploit it. It doesn't have to be a career, but you can use it in your career. This is where it all lies, right? Your comfort zone, where you're feeling safe and in control. And then the fear zone, which is what stops you, right? You find the excuses to stop you from trying something, to move on to something else. And then the learning zone. If you're brave enough to go in the learning zone. And then growth happens. So, the nuggets I want to leave you with. Who moved my cheese? It's about change. Embracing change. We are all afraid of change, but you need to embrace it. The thing you got to embrace about change is, how do you change? Back to this self-awareness. How do you adjust to change? We all do it differently. Some people need to bring everything with you. Some people need it to happen right away. Some people are really slow. Figure out how you adjust to change, but make sure you adjust to change. Because when you don't, you're missing opportunities. You're missing opportunities, right? So figure that out for yourself and then grasp those opportunities. Self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the combination of self-confidence. The definition of self-efficacy is your belief in your ability to accomplish a single task. I'll say that again. It's your belief in your ability to accomplish a single task. So you can have high self-confidence in your ability to do your hair, but low self-efficacy in your ability to put your hair in a ponytail. High self-efficacy in your ability to put your hair in an updo. Does that make sense? It's your belief and your ability. So when you think about your overall self-confidence, break it up into self-efficacy. Break it up into pieces. Focus on what you do well. Back to what I was saying before. Focus on what you do well. Not necessarily those growth edges yet. That is your overall self-confidence. Find a theme song or a phrase. Boss Ass Bitch is not my theme song any longer, but it was. I'm not going to lie, it was. It's not mine any longer, but I don't need one at the moment. But I've had phrases as well. When I was in my master's program, I had a phrase that was, fear is a vicious cycle. The very thing that you are fearful of will become your reality if you tune into it. That was a phrase I used all the time. So I didn't want to tune into my fear. I didn't want it to become reality, right? So find a phrase, find a song that will help you with that self-awareness piece. That'll help you increase your self-efficacy, your self-confidence. Goals. Set goals. SMART goals. You've heard the acronym for SMART? The thing about goal setting that people find, that I hear, they always say goal setting does not work. Goal setting works if you do it correctly. If you set a goal of, I'm going to get in shape, that's really hard. If you set a goal of every Tuesday and Thursday at 2, I'm going to ride 30 minutes on the bike, you're going to do that. You're going to have to do that as opposed to I'm going to get healthier, I'm going to work out, right? Make sure it's specific, it's measurable, it's obtainable, it's realistic. Realistic is really, really important because oftentimes we set goals that are not realistic, right? The example I say to players is that I am not going to have a goal, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be white. And of course they laugh like you do, but you would be surprised the goals that people want to set. Your free throw percentage is 76, well I'm going to have a free throw percentage of 96. Really? How are you going to go from 76 to 96? It's not going to happen. You may go from 76 to 80, and that's even rough, right? Make sure they're realistic. Make sure they're specific. And time, give yourself a time. The other thing about goals is figure out the obstacles. What's going to stop you from achieving that goal? Because once you know what it is, you're able to overcome it. You're not afraid of it when it happens. You've already figured out a plan to move past it, right? So figure out what those obstacles are. And back to embrace yourself. Embrace all of you. I think as women, we have a really hard time of doing that. We have a really hard time of embracing who we are, all of us. Even the pieces that are growth edges, the parts that are not as favorable. Embrace that. That's who you are. That's the way that you were made. If you don't like something, then you change it. You don't, yeah, but. So those are my little nuggets for you. Sorry I've kept you later. We are out of time, but thank you.